More and more conservative YouTubers are apparently moving to Russia in pursuit of an ideology and policies that they're more comfortable with. And we know from recent history that many of them are going to end up massively regretting that decision because Russia in actuality is a little bit different than they've been sold on. And we'll get to that. But while they're there and before they flee back to America, many of them are, whether knowingly or not, helping the Russian government evade YouTube's restrictions on propaganda. And there's nothing illegal about what's being done, but it isn't a good thing either. And so we're gonna break it down. But first of all, to give you an idea of what they're doing once they get there, these conservative YouTubers, there are recurring themes in the videos they post. Tours of Russian malls and supermarkets to try to show how little Western sanctions have hurt and the hatred that they have for LGBTQ plus rights. There's a general reluctance to discuss the war with Ukraine at all, which I think probably matches a lot of regular Russians' reluctance to talk about it in public, because if you say the wrong thing, that could be the end of it for you. Now, there's no direct evidence that these influencers are part of any kind of coordinated campaign by the Russian government, okay, but it is what they're doing. And I will remind you all that they're there doing these mall tours and these supermarket tours. That is exactly what Tucker Carlson did when he got there. And again, doesn't mean that it's coordinated. They just all seem to have the same idea. Like, how can I convince people that Russia is not the totalitarian state that I've been told it is? Well, they do have large piles of bread at very reasonable prices. Maybe that'll do it.
A storm is tearing up the digital media industry. Only our audience can save us in these difficult times. Help us reach our goal of 100,000 new members at tyt.com/team.
So let me give you an example. Back in 2023, Joe Schulzman moved his family from Kansas to Moscow because he was frustrated by what he considered to be propaganda supporting the LGBTQ plus community in the US. So he made a 17-minute YouTube video wearing a black turtleneck and glasses, just to paint the picture for you. He described himself in the video as a traditional Catholic father of 6 children. And in the video, he complained that America has abandoned God and is promoting IVF babies, apparently suggesting that if he moves to Russia, which is religiously more conservative, that would be more appealing. And I think that that's so interesting for a few reasons. First of all, as many of you probably are aware, Russia has a bit of an issue, like a lot of countries do, in falling birth rates. I think that IVF might kind of be a good direction for them to go in to encourage more births. But now you have these guys coming in, we're gonna try to get them to move in the opposite direction. But also, before we get to the propaganda element of it, I just want you to try to put yourself, use the empathy that you are capable of, that they're not capable of, to try to put yourself in the position of a person who has grown up and lived in America for decades. And simply because you are so angry at gay people for existing, you're gonna move to Russia over that. You're gonna give up on the American experiment. You're gonna give up on democracy because you can't stand the fact that gay people like walk around and live their life. That is, he cares so much more about what gay people do than I think the vast majority of gay people do. And I think that's very strange. But Sharon, what do you make of this? There's apparently dozens of examples of these sorts of YouTubers moving to Russia.
Do they have to give up their US citizenship?
I don't think so.
Okay, that's just my taste level. I guess if they want to come back, it's stupid. If that's what you want to do, go ahead. We're a free country, allegedly, and you are allowed to go. But I don't know if you will be coming back. I'll just put it out there, okay? There's been some who have gone to do a little business there, taken a little trip, and we're still waiting to have them safely returned to us. So, if you want to experiment with that, I don't wish that upon anyone, but I think it's just silliness. Really?
Yeah, and look, I don't wish. For some of them it is, and look, we have to bear in mind we're focusing in this video on YouTubers, on influencers. Okay, random conservatives might move to Russia and then massively regret it, or some of them didn't necessarily have a platform before they moved there, then they were profiling it. You had this conservative family that was really disappointed, and then they were getting cracked down on. If we can move to graphic 3, they were getting cracked down on, their money was being seized, so they wanted out. And many of these might end up fleeing back to America. I don't want anything bad to happen to them. It's just interesting that, like, while they're there, what are they doing? They're trying to launder the reputation of a country that is doing irreparable harm, not just to the world, to its own people. So many totally innocent Russians have died in Ukraine in a war that never should have been started and continue to die literally every day, literally as we're recording this video. And to go there and to do propaganda so that you can get views, so you can make like a little bit of ad revenue or whatever, that's like truly a devil's bargain that I would never make. Members make a difference here at TYT. You help make the show happen, and we see you in the chat with your loyalty badge. Click the join button to become a member today.